A brine solution is simply a salt water solution used as a marinade. It's really simple. So we start off with some water. Nice big bowl. You can use cold water, it's totally fine. All right, so add some brown sugar. Let that dissolve. A couple good handfuls of salt. There's no specific recipe to this. You just want to make sure you give the water a lot of flavor. Oh, I almost forgot my secret ingredient. Frozen apple juice concentrate. About half a bunch of fresh thyme. And then we're throwing some peppercorns. Give that a little stir. And that is it. All right, we'll take our pork chops, 2 by 2, just like Noah's Ark. Right in the bag. All right. These are beautiful. Nice, thick, meaty pork chops. When I was growing up, my dad used to make pork chops just about every Sunday, and this one's going out to my dad. All right. Pour in the brine really carefully. Almost smells like apple cider. All right, pour this right on top, just like that. 1. 2. Okay. We're gonna give these guys a seal. Now, I like to brine the pork chops for 2 hours. You're really gonna hit that optimum flavor, but if you only have a half an hour, something's gonna happen to the flavor of the chop. So just make sure you don't miss this step. It's a really good way to make sure those pork chops are gonna be outstanding, right? And that's it. I promise you that's the most delicious, juicy pork chop you've ever had. Put it in the fridge. Boom. Pour it all out. I'm trying to save the herbs because I'm actually cooking the herbs in with the pork chops. All right, a couple of paper towels. All right, we're gonna blot these guys off. All right, for one main reason. Oil and water aren't friends, they never have been, and they never will be. And if we take them out of the brine, out of the bag, and put them into the pan, they're gonna start to splatter. Now the only thing you really need, because they have a lot of flavor already, is a little bit of salt and pepper on the outside, and you're totally good to go. All right, a little bit of kosher salt, some fresh cracked pepper, and we'll season the other side once it gets into the pan. All right, these guys are good to go. I'm gonna save a lot of that fresh thyme and actually cook it with the pork chops itself. You ready? You ready? That's what I'm talking about. Let these guys go on a medium-high temperature. Ready to take a look at these chops? Oh, beautiful, caramelized, really moist, delicious pork chops. So we're gonna finish the pork chops off in the oven. I think it's a really big step. A lot of people kind of miss out on this because they finish it in the pan from beginning to end. They're a little thick to do that, to be honest with you. And also because we brine them in sugar, it might have a tendency to burn. All right, so you got these guys. They go into the oven, just like that. 350 degrees, right along with squash. Okay, so I'm gonna take a little pat of butter, not a whole lot, but I wanna give the apples a fresh flavor, all right? So maybe like a tablespoon of butter. Drop it into the pan with all the delicious pork drippings. All right, let that go. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna take the slices of apple, throw them into the pan, and let them start to sweat and caramelize, because I wanna let them soak up that great flavor from the pan itself, but I also wanna develop the natural sugars from the apple. And now what I'm going for, as far as the flavor of the apples, is what's considered like a sweet spice. It's gonna have cinnamon and clove. It's also gonna have some raisin. It's gonna be really rich and deep. Okay, so we got some cinnamon. It's gonna go in the apples. All right, and just, oh, that's good. A little heavy, but it'll work, it's fine. All right, I got some cinnamon, smells really good. All right, we're gonna add a little bit of ground clove. Now, clove is actually quite strong, so we're just gonna use just a pinch. I'm gonna take my little finger here and just rake out just a little bit. Now, dry mustard is something that's really delicious with this kind of flavor combination because a little spike. It hits your tongue in a couple different places. All right, a little dry mustard. Give it a little stir. And the apple's starting to caramelize. They smell fantastic. I'm gonna add some raisins to this as well. Nice little handful. Maybe 2. Now we're gonna take the rest of our apple juice concentrate that we had earlier, and this is gonna be the base for our sauce. A nice little stir. Deglaze. All right, add a little bit of salt. balance out the flavor. A little fresh cracked pepper. All right, so I'm gonna take a little bit of the brown sugar, not much, maybe like a teaspoon. Just gonna sweeten everything up. Then we're gonna take some fresh thyme, because it's been pretty much the main herb focus that we've used throughout the entire dish. All right, give it a little stir. All right, now the color of this pan is starting to say a lot. It's really pulled up all those delicious flavors from the bottom of the pan, and it's also nice and caramelized and brown. And once it starts to cook down and get really thick, it's gonna cling onto the pork chops for dear life. Let's take a knife and just split our lemon that we used earlier, and just put a couple of drops in it. I wanna heighten that natural flavor. All right, not too much, just enough to really kind of bring out those natural sugars from the apples. Look at that beautiful guy. Nice and moist and meaty. Put it right on top. And then we're gonna finish it off with a homemade applesauce with raisins and some sweet spice. All right, that smells spectacular. Oh, nice and meaty and perfect. Look how juicy that is. And I am going in. Apples, raisins. That's spectacular.